Welcome to the Briefing Room. I'm your host, Chief David Malloy, Director of Public Safety for the City of Novi. Very honored to have joining us here today Assistant Chief Victor Loria from the Novi Police Department. Assistant Chief, welcome.
Thank you, Chief.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your role in the organization, your background, some of the assignments you've had, and most importantly, some of your training experience and also your education.
Well, I joined the Novi Police Department in 1988, and as a matter of fact, today I start my 24th year with the organization. I've had a variety of assignments. Started out in patrol, worked police canine dog for a few years, was fortunate enough to be promoted to the rank of detective. From there, worked a plainclothes assignment, one of our undercover sonic assignments for about 4 years. Promoted to sergeant, returned to patrol, and then lieutenant, where I served both in the Detective Bureau and in the Uniform Division. And fortunately enough, a few years ago, I was promoted to Assistant Chief. Today, my role is to supervise, direct, and mentor the day-to-day operations of the sworn staff in the Uniform Division, as well as the Detective Bureau and the plainclothes officers we have. Working with them to confront daily crime problems and issues, and making sure that everything runs smoothly and we provide the highest level of service to our community.
Outstanding. And your education, you joined us?
I graduated from Northern Michigan University in Marquette with a Bachelor of Science degree. A few years ago, I returned to school and obtained my Master's of Science from Eastern Michigan University. I consider myself a lifelong learner, not only of formal education, but informally. I like to read a wide variety of books. Leadership and management is one of my favorite categories. Currently, I'm enrolled in the firefighter school, as you know, but the public may not be familiar with. We have a public safety administration, which means the fire side and the police side answer to you, and we work on both sides of the fence, not only the police side but the fire side as well. And I think this training that I've been sent to is going to provide me with a unique perspective to see what it is that a firefighter does on a daily basis.
Outstanding. And we got some good news the other day that in the next couple months you're going to be attending some additional training.
Yes, I'm very excited. I've been accepted to the 250th class of the FBI National Academy in Quantico, Virginia. I really welcome this opportunity. It speaks highly of our organization, the leadership that you provide, as well as the elected officials to make this investment in my continued development.
We're very happy to provide that and look forward to the success. And when you come back, you'll just have even more knowledge to provide to the men and women that we work with on a daily basis. Tell us a little bit about how we fared last year with the close of 2011 and some of our crime statistics. We had some minor increases in some categories, but we actually had two pretty significant decreases when we talk burglaries and auto theft.
The burglaries and auto thefts were two things that we really focused in on. We had some increases in 2010, and one of our performance goals was to reduce both of those categories. We saw significant reductions in burglaries, down almost 15%, and car thefts down 20%. We're very happy with that goal and obtaining that, but we continue to focus in on that in 2012 and drive those even lower.
And I know one of the items that we're focusing on that we saw an increase, we have a very large entertainment venue, if you will, with a few alcohol establishments, and we had some assaults up there. And,
yes.
and we're going to be looking at conquering that.
That is one of the things that we focus in on and confront on almost a weekly basis, those Friday and Saturday nights. We have a large group of people that come into the city and frequent these businesses. It's not uncommon to see officers on foot, on bike patrols, and mobily in their vehicles patrolling those areas. It has been identified as kind of a hot spot, and we put our officers in the areas that require the greatest amount of attention. it will be a focus of ours in 2012. Not only from the police side, but we will partner with the business owners to see what we can do to assist them in alleviating that crime.
And we've talked in previous editions of the briefing room about crimemapping.com, a new offering we've had in the last few months, and that helps keep the citizens informed. But we also look at these crime stats on a daily basis. Tell the viewing audience what we do to measure those in the meetings we hold every single week.
Well, we hold a weekly meeting called our CompStat meeting, which is usually held on Tuesdays at 2:30. We pour over statistics not only from the police side but the fire side as well. Crime trends and patterns is a focus of that. Not only looking at what happened, but what can we do about it into the future. The crime mapping is a very valuable tool, not only for the public, but also internally for the officers and the command staff. We actually review our crime trends twice a day. Each shift puts out a summary of significant events that occurred over their shift. And every morning, Monday through Friday, the command staff sit down to review those trends and patterns and to discuss how we are going to deal with them in the future. Also, if it occurs weekends, holidays, some type of significant trend develops. As you well know, we wake each other up, discuss those things maybe in the middle of the night or 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning while you may be at a soccer game, I may be at a hockey game. It's a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week operation, and we always have our finger on the pulse of what's going on.
Yeah, I think we're, and I can say this confidently, we're ahead of where a lot of organizations are. I know a lot of organizations, they look at their crime stats once a month. They look at some of their if they have performance measures, they might look at those once a month, where we're looking at those daily, sometimes twice a day, but we're always keeping our fingers on the pulse. And we're talking not just crime reduction measurements, we're talking how quickly our dispatchers are picking up a 911 call, how quickly our officers are getting to the scene of a priority call, how quickly our firefighters are getting from the station onto the truck, from the truck to the curb. There's a dozen other measurements that I'm missing from the idle time on our police cars. We know that's one of the most damaging things for a car to do is sit and idle. And we've been able to bring that down exponentially just by having a valid performance measurement.
I am absolutely confident we are at the cutting edge, one of the leaders in performance measurements, and not only measuring what it is we do, but taking action on that. And proof of that is that on a weekly basis, we receive a telephone call from some other organization that says, hey, what are you guys doing? How do you do this? How can we implement this in our department? We have pushed this to the next level. And it's not just something that's embraced by the administration, it's throughout the entire organization. We have ownership of it.
That's great. That's fantastic. Well, we're going to take a real quick break here on the briefing room, but when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the successful initiatives we've had in these last couple of years at the Novi Police Department. Stay tuned.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
Now, some action from the courts. Billie Jean King renewing her rivalry with Arthritis. First set, furious volley, and right to the net for a winner. Beautiful forehand there. Arthritis, stunned. And here, match point. Billie Jean with the ace, taking it in straight sets. Afterwards, a jubilant Billie Jean King.
Tennis is a weapon for me with arthritis. There's nothing like it for me to hit a ball, run to the ball, anytime, any court. I'm ready. Let's go.
What's your weapon against arthritis? Find out at fightarthritispain.org.
Welcome back to the briefing room. I'm continued to be joined by Assistant Chief Victor Loria, who commands our police operations at the Novi Police Department. Chief, one of the initiatives a few years ago you were spearheaded and actually led was the construction of our firearms training center. Tell the viewers a little bit about, number one, how that came to fruition, how much it cost, and how much you were within budget.
Well, the Firearms Training Center came about as a result of a significant seizure that we made in the city of Novi, and continued on with that investigation through the cooperation with the Drug Enforcement Administration that netted the city through drug forfeiture funds several $1,000,000. A lot of that money has been used to pay for various technology improvements at the police department, police cars, laptop computers. But one of the areas that we really wanted to address was our firearms training program. Previously, we used the City of Farmington's range. We brought forth a proposal to council to construct our own range, and that was accepted. In all, it was a $1.7 million project that was paid through drug forfeiture funds, which means it didn't cost the taxpayers of the city of Novi one nickel. The range was built and it was completed on time and was within $700 of budget.
That's fantastic. And nowadays we're not only training our men and women on a continual basis, sometimes weekly, monthly, they're at least getting it once a month, but we're also using that to generate revenue for the city. Talk to us a little bit how we made that come to work.
We have our facility. It can be operated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but obviously our sworn personnel don't need that level of training. We can train on a weekly basis, and as a result, we went out and we marketed our facility to other law enforcement agencies as a convenient way for them to complete their firearms training program. We were lucky enough to partner with the Customs and Border Patrol Service and we came up with a rental agreement with them where they would rent our range out, and currently they're renting it out for 80 hours a week, Monday through Friday, so 16 hours a day. That contract has been in place for a little over a year now, and I'm very happy to say that that has generated an extra $250,000 in revenue to the city of Novi.
That's absolutely amazing, and hats off to you and your team for making that happen. And I think we also, we partner with a couple security corporations, Providence Hospital,
Yes.
Their security officers use it, and that's just a couple other smaller federal services.
Smaller federal. Later on this month, the Farmington Hills Police Department will be coming over and utilizing the range. The Wixom Police Department, South Lyon, lots of neighboring jurisdictions have had access to that facility. And it's a way for us to partner with them and allow them a cost-effective means to train their officers.
And another new initiative that you and Sergeant Michael Warren actually worked on was our civilian pistol safety courses. To tell the viewers about that, how they can access that, and the successes we've seen with that as well.
Well, the civilian concealed pistol license course is a course that provides you the training to qualify you to apply for your concealed pistol license. About a year and a half ago, in speaking with some residents, they indicated that they really wanted this service. There's other ranges and training facilities that the public can go to receive this training, but they really expressed an interest in receiving the training from certified active law enforcement personnel. So with the assistance of Mike Warren and a few of our firearms instructors, we put together a course, and it has been accepted by the state. We put it on about every 2 to 3 months. To apply for it or to reserve yourself a spot, you can go to our website. It's prominently marked there, or you can stop by the police department and pick up a schedule of when the classes are held. Every single class we've held so far has been full to capacity. We limit it to 10 people. There's 2 instructors there, so the one-on-one time between instructor to student is very high and provides the person a lot more comfort in understanding how to shoot a firearm and what firearm safety is all about.
And by the way, another offshoot of that is it does generate additional revenue. We don't have to use taxpayer dollars for that. That helps generate that additional revenue. So the whole Firearms Training Center, it's a win-win in terms of training. It's also a regional partnership that we're able to form with state, local, and federal partners. But then it's also another way that we can generate revenue in this economy that we're finding ourselves in nowadays.
That's absolutely true, Chief. The revenue generating portion of it is nice, but I look at the level of service and the level of skill and proficiency that our officers have been able to obtain directly as a result of having this facility accessible within the city of Novi.
Something that's often overshadowed in our organization are two of our most valuable resources that we have, and those are our canine assets. Tell us a little bit about, number one, how we come to get those, but number two, the effectiveness that they had, and what new technology we just recently added.
Well, the canine program has a special place in my heart. As you know, I was a former canine handler. We currently have 2 dogs who are excellent officers. They provide us with the opportunity to do building searches, area searches, track individuals, as well as narcotic detection. Those services are provided also by the state police in the county, but if you need them, you have to call for them. If they're available, then you have to wait for them to arrive. With having these assets here with our department, they're immediately deployable. Over the past few years, technology has really advanced, and one of the pieces of technology that we recently purchased for our dogs were GPS tracking devices. Quite frequently, these dogs work at night. They work in wooded areas where it's hard to keep a visual contact of the dog, but because they now have GPS collars, each of the dog handlers can actually track where the dog is at from a mobile device like a cell phone.
Yeah, that's great. The dogs are very precious to us. Obviously, they're a member of the dog handler, the officer's family. We purchase the dog with federal drug forfeiture dollars. We pay for their veterinary expenses. We purchase their GPS collars, again, with drug proceeds that we're seizing from the street. And I know their handlers feel much more comfortable now that they know that if the dog does get off the leash or they have to let it track, that they're going to have that ability to keep track of them. And this movement really kind of spawned from an incident up north where a canine dog was actually lost with another department, and now all their dog handlers and canines have it. So another layer of safety and security, and probably one of the best public relations campaigns that we can put out there. Everyone loves the dogs.
They absolutely do. I think years ago, police dogs had a reputation of being ferocious, but if you saw our dogs, they're most popular with the kindergartners and first graders, and they crawl all over them, and the dog just lays there. When you get the dog into a work environment and it's time to work, they're working dogs, they get excited, and they're ready to go to work. But the level of control that our handlers maintain over these dogs is fantastic.
Yeah, and we all work, and we're all rewarded for our work. The reward that those dogs get, they get to chew on a tennis ball.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. That's the highlight of their day. When they do something good, they know they did something good because their handlers let them chew on a slobby tennis ball.
It's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap. But another great program. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate your service, your diligence, your commitment. This is not an 8 to 5 job that we have. This is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job, and I appreciate everything you do, and I'm enjoying working alongside of you for the last couple of decades. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief.
And thank you to the viewing audience for tuning in to the briefing room. We encourage you to stay safe and continue to watch Novi Television.